Today we're going to talk tires. Probably one of the most expensive maintenance items that we deal with. We're going to talk tire pressures, we're going to talk tread wear, tread patterns, as well as failures and what may cause a particular failure. This tire here was off a trailer. It's got excessive scalping, coupling, was probably ran flat for a period of time, is what usually causes this. I remind our drivers to make sure that when they're doing their pre-trip inspections, that they make sure that auto inflation system is on. So tire pressure is huge. Tire pressure is the number one cause for tire failure. So again, if you have a soft tire and you can confirm that it's not 30 pounds below the recommended pressure, you can go ahead and air it up. But if it's over or if it exceeds that 30 psi mark, please do not take it upon yourself to air that tire up. Call into the maintenance department, we'll get you assisted with that. Moving on, this is a steer tire. This damage actually occurred when one of our tractors was actually sitting on the railroad tracks, and they actually turned the tires while it was on the railroad tracks. And it took this big chunk out of the rubber. It's a non-repairable tire because it's down to the steel belts. When at all possible, do not turn the steer tires on railroad tracks. Gravel can sometimes also affect tread patterns when you're turning the steering wheel back and forth, but primarily railroad tracks. This was another underinflated tire that came off of a trailer. The reason it looks this way is because it was ran flat for an extended period of time. It got warm and it completely blew the retread off the tire. This is where you would see those sitting on the interstate. We call them alligators, but it's basically just the tread that you see laying on the interstate. In addition, oncoming traffic that's following you. So again, make sure your tire pressures are at the proper inflation. Check for physical damage, cap separation along the edges. You can sometimes see that cap separation. Lastly, the way it looks today, but this was a tire that came off a trailer in the wintertime. I know you've heard me talk about frozen brakes, things of that nature. This is what happens when a set of brakes are frozen. Completely destroyed this tire. This can also happen in the summertime. I want to remind everyone that, even though our new spec on our trailers are disc brakes, and as of right now we have yet to have any tire failures due to brake issues on a trailer with disc brakes, but our trailers with the drum brakes, this can, like I say, happen in the summer because the brakes can also rust to the drums, not causing the tires not to move. So make sure that you're paying very close attention to the anti-skid devices on the trailers. If the trailer does not have anti-skid devices, make sure you're doing your S-turns in the parking lot. Watch your mirrors, make sure everything's turning, so we don't have this type of situation. But I brought this one in here just as an example of what happens when it's pulled a very short time, whether it be down a city street, in a parking lot, or obviously down the interstate as well. As I stated earlier, the number one cause for tire failure is tire pressure. So if we can be one up on that, we can be ahead of the game.